Do you have a sacred space? I don't mean a corner of your living room. I mean a place that holds you when the rest of the world can't. Hello, gals, and welcome to a new era of this show. If you've been here before, you might notice something different. Not just the title, but the tone. This podcast used to be called Sober Living Snippets for Women Over 40. But that name, it didn't quite reflect the power of the women I'm really speaking to. Because the women I work with and the woman I'm becoming are not just trying to live sober. We're building something, and we're not here to tiptoe through the wine aisle of life anymore. So this show is now Sobriety Snippets for Ambitious Women Over 40, with one clear mission: to help you gain confidence, clarity, and success through an alcohol-free mindset. And that's exactly what I'll be bringing you here every weekday. No fluff, no convincing, no talking down. Just real conversations from a woman who's walked it and built an entire ecosystem to support women like us. If this is your first time here, welcome. If you've been with me a while, thank you. Either way, this marks a new chapter, one where we stop pretending we're fine and start becoming the version of ourselves we were always meant to be. Gals, let's begin. Today, we're going to talk about the sacred space that is more than just a space. So if you've been around a while, you know that one of the things I encourage all of us to do is have a sacred space in our home where we go to nurture ourselves, build our internal compass, do our self-care, do our growth, look after ourselves. And this is an actual physical space in our homes. I'm assuming you have a reasonable amount of space. More important than where it is that it should be the place that you go to do your self-care, the place you go to nurture yourself, look after yourself consistently. It's only used for that purpose because we build up energy in that space. The subconscious gets to know that when we approach that space, we're getting quiet, we're getting interiorized, we're going there for a particular reason. So it's building up energy in that space over time that will help you to grow. If you're feeling down, if you're feeling off kilter, you can just walk into that space and start to feel more centered. Once you've built it up as the space, your sacred space. Now, if at all possible, I would prefer you had your own room and you asked for privacy there, and certainly no one else should be using your space. No one else should even be entering your space without your permission. This is like when we go to sacred spaces in the world. We go to cathedrals, we go to high energy places in the world. People gravitate towards them for a reason. Even if only subconsciously we can feel the power there, the power that's built up over generations and centuries of humans going there to get quiet and connect with something bigger than themselves. There's a connection there that builds up energy that we feel. We feel it. We don't have to even recognize it, but often we do. You can do that in your own space. So that, as I say, even if you're feeling disconnected, and in fact, you'll find yourself running there. You're like, oh, I'm all out of sorts today. Go take a deep breath, get into your sacred space, and just enter the space. Take a deep breath and allow yourself to be. That alone will settle you down. The nervous system will become accustomed to, oh, this is where I can breathe. This is where I can expand. This is where it happens. Now, all of that we've talked a lot about here on the snippets, but today I want to expand the meaning of our sacred space. While yes, I want you to have a physical space, your sacred space is also inside of you. You carry it with you everywhere you go. This is your internal sacred space. That what we want to do is we want to work towards a place where we hold that space for ourselves and it's untouchable. This means that no matter what's going on in our day, we can close our eyes, or even if we can't close our eyes, we can connect, just mentally connect to that space inside, often accompanied by a deep breath, and center ourselves just by thinking about it, just by realizing I'm okay. I have a space inside of me that's okay, that's centered, that's breathing. You can do this right in the midst of the busiest day, no matter what's going on. You can find that space. Just like your physical sacred space, this internal sacred space comes to our rescue over and over. And then guess what happens? After a while, even far longer, guess what happens? We start residing there all the time. We literally, what's going on around us just can't touch us because there's a space inside of our hearts that is centered, peaceful, and silent. I want you to take a deep breath right now, no matter what you're doing, whether you're driving, whatever you're doing, you don't have to stop what you're doing. I want you to take a deep breath with me right now. We're going to breathe deeply in through the nose, fill up the bottom of the lungs by opening up the belly. Let's do that deep belly breath. Excellent. I want you to exhale with the mouth open. Excellent. That's how long it takes to help the nervous system recenter itself and bring us back to center. And eventually, my dear, this internal space becomes your default. You don't visit it, you live from it. And the noise of life can't touch a woman who lives centered in herself. Let's talk about 3 ways we can build this internal sacred space so that it's there, so that we feel it no matter what's going on. One way is the breathing. Always be breathing. ABB. Always be breathing. I want you always to be breathing. I want you bringing that breath with you throughout the day. It soothes the nervous system. It brings us back to center. We can't get angry. We can't get anxious. We can't get overwhelmed if we're breathing properly. So that's number 1. That breath is connected. In fact, it can't be disconnected from your internal sacred space. It is the signal to the subconscious, we're going to the space. We're going to our center now. We're going to our sacred space. We're going to the calm. We're going in to where we're centered, calm, and this can't bother us. On the external, nobody even notices the difference. I mean, other than they might see you take a deep breath, but it settles us down. So we bring the breath with us, and that breath is tied to our internal sacred space and will always bring us back there after a while. We have to practice this at first. And the hardest part of it is just remembering to do it. So number 1 is having your breath and using it, allowing the breath to bring you to center. Let's do one more before we go to number 2. In through the nose. Open up the bottom of the lungs by pushing out the belly and exhaling with the mouth open. When you have that exhale and you've gotten a really nice deep breath, you can literally feel the tension leaving. It's so powerful. I want you using that breath. Now, the second way you can get yourself back to your sacred space in a heartbeat is by having something, a phrase, a mantra, an affirmation, or even just one word. I call it something to hook the mind to. If you find your mind starting to race, or it's heading off into the past, or it's cruising up with worry into the future, we're regretting the past, we're worrying about the future, we're all in a tizzy, we take a deep breath and then connect to a word or a phrase that means something to us. We want this to be a phrase that is meaningful to us, or a word. It doesn't have to be huge. I'm not talking about a traditional affirmation. I'm talking about something that means something to you, so that when you say it mentally, you don't have to say it out loud, although you can. When you say this word or phrase, it signals, oh yeah, right, I'm okay. I don't have to get all wound up in what's going on here. And the phrase is tied to the breath, which are both taking you back to your internal sacred space. So number 1 is carrying that breath and remembering to use it. As I say, it's going to take practice. If you're not doing this, give yourself time. Please be patient. Number 2 is get a phrase or a word that reminds you, that hooks the mind in, brings it back, hooks the mind and brings it back, hooks the mind and brings it back. Mine is I relax. I relax, I relax. Actually, it's longer than that, but it's ended up over time being shortened just to I relax. The full phrase, many of you know, those of you who've been around a while know that my full phrase is I relax and put aside all mental burdens. That one I picked up years ago and I still use it. It's just evolved to where I don't have to say the whole thing anymore. I just say, I relax and I'm there. I don't use it very often anymore, gals, because after a while, you really do reside in a space, a silence, a core of silence inside of yourself that is so centered and so still, no matter what's going on, that you're just there. You're just there. It's a beautiful way to live, and nothing can disturb you there if you've nurtured this space and given it the time that it needs to grow and evolve and become a real living space for you. So number 1 is the breath. Number 2 is a phrase or word that's meaningful to you. And number 3, while you're in practice for this, while you're in training for this, I want you to create an anchor for yourself. Now, we could use Post-it notes, but I want this with you all day long. So I will want to suggest to you that you get some object that you can carry with you or wear on your wrist or put on the mirror of your car or put it on your phone. That would be a great place because that's where we visit often. A sticker, or not a sticker that won't come off, but something. I want an anchor. I want you to come up with an anchor that whenever you see it or touch it or feel it, it could be in your pocket, a little pebble you put in your pocket that reminds you to breathe and say and go back to center. So in the beginning, we need an anchor or we're going to forget. And getting yourself an anchor is really fun, right? We get to choose an object that's meaningful to us, paint a little rock, write something on a piece of paper, a twig. I don't know what appeals to you, but something that you're going to have where you're going to see it that's going to remind you, I need to take a breath. I need to use my phrase. I have a place in the center of my heart where it's safe and quiet, where I can't be anxious. I can't be angry. I can't be harried. I love the word harried. It's not hair on your head. I know you know that. So there's 3 ways we can nurture and grow a sacred space inside of our hearts, a portable sacred space that we can bring with us everywhere we go. And for those of you who are newer here in Snippet Land, I also want you getting a physical sacred space. That's a space you'll go to every day to do your daily self-care. And if you're struggling with that, that's because you don't have the accountability and the support you need to follow through on your daily self-care. And that, of course, is where I come in. If this episode spoke to you, I created something just for women like us, women who are smart, self-aware, and tired of trying to figure this out alone. It's called the Unstuck Intensive. 3 days together starting this Friday, June 20th, ending on Sunday, the 22nd. 3 days, 3 sessions, and a community of women just like you. If what I've said here today has spoken to you, go to the show notes, tap the link, and sign up to join me for the Unstuck Intensive, or just head over to recoveringwithbecca.com/unstuck. Let this be the moment you stop starting over and start creating your internal sacred space. Thanks for popping in. Be sure to come back tomorrow so we can keep your head on straight. Sending you buckets of love.